Why is it so dark? Can we get some lights, please? There we go. Wait a minute. Why am I even awake? Did I set my alarm to wake me up post-woke, Kira? Let me get up and see what's going on. Oof, that's gonna leave a mark. Seriously though, why am I even awake? Oh, that's right. I felt a disturbance in the force, if you will. It's as if Disney Lucasfilm had taken yet another character from the original Star Wars trilogy and humiliated him. But surely they've learned a lesson right now, and that can't possibly who am I kidding? What did they do now? New Star Wars Padawan prequel novel implies Obi-Wan Kenobi is bisexual. Because of course he is. Here are a couple of pages from the book. I'm not going to read them out loud to you for two reasons. First, it's cringy, and second, it's actually pretty bad writing. But if you want, you can pause and read them for yourselves. Now, this is the part where I point out that canonically Obi-Wan Kenobi has been interested in women, the Duchess Satine, and by his own words, he loved her so much that had she asked him, he would have left the Jedi Order for her. Now, one can make the argument that I'm reaching here, it's just text in a book, it's vague, it doesn't mean anything, and under different circumstances, I would have been inclined to agree with you. However, given the current state of not just Star Wars but pop culture in general, it's quite clear that these things are there for a reason. There are quite a lot of people involved in these projects and franchises pushing personal agendas and their own beliefs. They're quite proud of it, in fact, and they're pretty vocal about it. How many times have you heard, "We have a gay character" or "a person of color," and the phrase diversity and inclusion? But these people don't care about diversity and inclusion. Not really. To them, it's just a means to an end, a way to get rid of the competition, because they are actually talentless hacks. And if they had to compete with people who have real talent, that know how to write interesting characters, stories, and worlds, they wouldn't stand a chance. And they're getting easier and easier to spot because they have a very limited playbook and a very small bag of tricks. Take something someone else has done, subvert it and twist it into something that you want it to be. Usually this involves taking beloved characters and humiliating them, subverting them, deconstructing them, or changing their race, gender, sexual orientation, and even core beliefs. And if anyone dares to question it, the response is pretty simple. They get a buzzword hurled their way. Because apparently calling someone a racist or a homophobe is a very good way to discredit valid criticism. And I'm going to show you a few examples of why I don't think that the text in this book is just a vague coincidence. Off the top of my head, here are a few characters that have been changed for no other reason than just to say they have been changed. Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn have been made into a gay couple, and it's no secret that ever since her inception pretty much Harley has had a bromance with Poison Ivy, but they've never been romantically involved. Harley is infatuated with the Joker. It's a sickness with her. She's trapped in an abusive relationship, and it's part of what makes her character tragic. As for Poison Ivy, she's not even fully human anymore. She's an eco-terrorist, so the perfect lesbian couple, I guess. And Vixen? Of course they're gonna make the black woman a lesbian, because apparently every black woman is a lesbian. Then there's Superman's son, who was aged up from being a kid to being a young man just so they can put him in a gay relationship with an Asian dude who's invulnerable to damage, has pink hair, and is an immigrant. And now he flies around with a pride flag cape. On a side note, am I the only one who finds it slightly disturbing that they pretty much turned a kid into a young man overnight so they can make him gay? Then there's Tim Drake, who again overnight became bisexual because reasons. And my favorite example, Iceman, who came out of the closet in one of the laziest drawn copy-pasted comic book panels ever made. You'd think, since this is such a big moment, they'd put some effort into it, but nah. And if you were wondering why a character that has existed for over 50 years is canonically heterosexual, has been involved in relationships with girls, overnight decided he likes guys, you guessed it, you're homophobic. Oh, and I forgot to mention that around the same time, Superman lost his trademark phrase, truth, justice, and the American way, which became truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. Oh yeah, and his son is fighting climate change with signs.
You serious?
Nice work, Junior. Don't make icebergs in the ocean with your freeze breath. Wave that sign around. That'll show him. But I digress. You came here for Obi-Wan Kenobi, so back to Obi-Wan Kenobi we go. Now at this point, I don't need to explain to you that the Kenobi show on Disney Plus is pretty much a canon-breaking mess and an absolute failure when it comes to Star Wars. Now remember what I said about taking old characters and demeaning them, systematically destroying them and all of that jazz? Well, just to make a quick comparison. Here's how Obi-Wan Kenobi looks in the multi-million-dollar Disney Plus show that's supposed to be about him. He's a meat farmer digging away at the carcass of some giant animal in the deserts of Tatooine that for some reason hasn't begun rotting in the blistering desert heat. He has become a full-fledged coward, is force impotent, and looks like a space hobo. And on the other hand, you have Obi-Wan Kenobi from the extended universe that Disney so kindly deleted, and here's a glimpse of the Obi-Wan and the adventures we could have had. This is him fighting a Sharad Het, a Jedi who led a Sand People rebellion and was getting dangerously close to the Lars farm where Obi-Wan confronted him. Asharat lost his arm that day, and later on he became the Sith Lord known as Darth Krayt. But enough about that. Nobody wants to see Sand People rebellions and fights with rogue Jedi. Instead, you get Obi-Wan Kenobi at his day job. But here's a fun fact for you. The story of how Obi-Wan became Qui-Gon's apprentice and the adventures they went on already exists. It's a series of books called Jedi Apprentice. And they were actually pretty decent. I oughta know. I read them. They were perfectly good books with interesting characters and stories, but they got tossed out the window along with everything else so that Disney Lucasfilm can redo Star Wars into the dumpster fire that it is today. And I'm just gonna say it. Wokeness is killing Star Wars. What was once the most popular entertainment brand on the planet, the very thing that made movie merchandising a thing, is now struggling to sell. And we have a very good example of this. Enter Reva, the new diverse and inclusive character that was introduced in the Kenobi show, and she is very important because we finally have black representation in Star Wars.
What? What the fuck?
Yeah, remember this guy? He was vaguely important. You know, Jedi Master sitting on the council, invented his own combat form, powerful enough to stand up to Darth Sidious. Name's Mace Windu. And then there's this other guy, Lando something, what was it now? Oh yeah, right, Lando Calrissian. But yeah, we finally have black representation in Star Wars. Oh, it's also super important that she has braids. Not even gonna get into that. And apparently we were supposed to love this character because she had a quote-unquote redemption story, because she ended up not killing an innocent child because she saw herself in the place of that child after she apparently had committed heinous atrocities and killed a bunch of people for years as she served the Empire. Honestly, this entire character is an absolute pointless mess, and her story is, simply put, stupid. So how did the reception for this super exciting new character go? Let's take a look at HasLabs. For those of you who don't know, HasLabs is Hasbro's crowdfunding page. They put up big, expensive toys on it, and if they reach their crowdfunding goals, they actually ship them directly to the people that paid for them. So what do you think they decided to put up on HasLabs for the Kenobi show? Something related to Obi-Wan or Darth Vader? No, that would make sense. Instead, what we got is Reva's dual-bladed lightsaber. This life-size replica cost $500. and it required 5,000 backers to be successfully funded. In the pretty generous window it had to get those backers, it got 1,413. Alright, stop. Pillow time. Now, before you say, hold up, this thing costs $500 and the economy is not really good right now, let me show you what other HasLab projects look like. G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Hiss for $300, a target of 8,000 backers, has 17,338 backers with over 18 days to go. The Marvel Legends Galactus for $400 had a target of 14,000 backers and ended up getting 30,811 backers, successfully funded. And the Ghostbusters Plasma Series Spangler's Proton Pack for $400 that had a target of 7,000 people got 19,062 backers. And it's not even a complete backpack, it's missing the torch and the hose. But of course, it's not Disney Lucasfilm's fault for pushing a character that wasn't actually well done and people didn't like, because that's never happened before. Reworked Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. Riri Williams, Ironheart. Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. Oh, sorry, it is dusty in here. No, it's the fans' fault for being whatever. And if you're still not convinced that these people don't care about these franchises, have no clue what they're doing, and are pushing personal agendas instead of making, quality content, I present to you the trans non-binary Jedi. This is not a joke. No, I don't know how that works. And if you ask me, these two guys look like Uncle Fester's nuts, though I cannot say which is the left one and which is the right one. Oh, and let's not forget that they use them/they pronouns. I know this because the Jedi Master was lecturing one of the Padawans in the book about it. Again, not joking. But of course, that's just my opinion, so let's see what the comments section of Bounding Into Comics has to say about Obi-Wan Kenobi's newly discovered identity. Red Guy says, "Oh boy, can't wait to see how our favorite Disney Star Wars shills are going to defend this one. At this point, quite honestly, don't care, because these people will glorify everything with a Star Wars label on it, even if it's a turd sandwich. And they're probably even gonna eat it too." Common Sense Says has written, "So the question for Lucas now is, was the $4 billion worth the destruction of your life's magnum opus? My guess is not, considering that if this was about the money, he could have made more if he had held on to Star Wars, and right now he has no say in the utter obliteration of his life's work." Eric Travis says, "Meanwhile, I continue to build my collection of extended universe books and graphic novels where the characters are recognizable and the writers understand their jobs." My man. Chief Beef, "I'd call it fan fiction, but that would require these people to actually be fans of the original material. Clearly, they're no more than cultural vandals." And that is very well put. You will find fan fiction, fan films, comic books, and whatnot that are better written and better made with more love and care than one Disney Lucasfilm with all the financial backing in the world are putting out. And last but not least, a comment from Zandy. "This quite literally reads like the Tippett fan fiction that shippers would post on DeviantArt and LoveJournal a decade ago. Cringe." Yeah, I'm getting Raylo flashbacks. I made the mistake of clicking on one of those profiles on Twitter once. Big mistake. So what do you think about Obi-Wan Kenobi's newfound sexuality? Did it enrich the character for you, or does it lean towards the case that the Jedi are actually Catholic priests? What do you mean I can't make that joke? It's my own channel. I don't care, I'm not even monetized. Anyway, I'll see you around.